Halloween Ends is the third and final installment in this new Halloween trilogy that is called H40 Trilogy. I have no idea. The title, that's all fucked up. I have no idea anymore. 4 years after the events of Halloween in 2018, which means after the events of Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills, Laurie has decided to liberate herself from fear and rage and embrace life. But when a young man is accused of killing a boy he was babysitting in a nice cascade of violence and terror that will force Laurie to finally confront the evil she can't control once and for all. This is the epic conclusion to the Laurie Strode Michael Myers saga. There's going to be a lot of divisiveness surrounding this film. There already has been. The review embargo lifted on release day, and it's being released on Peacock the same day. So that tells you a little bit of what you need to know about Halloween Ends. I just used the word. It's going to be divisive. This is going to be a movie that is going to be frustratingly disappointing and frustratingly satisfying. Halloween Ends is a messy finale. There's many things that I liked. There's things I didn't like. There's particular things that I both liked and disliked at the same time. This is a very hard movie to talk about without spoiling anything because there's going to be so much to talk about with Halloween Ends. Unlike Halloween 2018, and especially Halloween Kills, because Halloween Kills is more just like, hey, mob mentality, let's go kill Michael Myers, evil dies tonight. You know, it's more about like Michael Myers just going around killing people and then the town of Haddonfield coming together to try and kill Michael Myers. That's really all Halloween Kills is. Out of the three, I think this one has the most to talk about, but it is the one that is the most messy. It is the one that I feel as if isn't put together all that well. It has 4 writers, and nobody can streamline one single story into this movie. It does at least have a plot, unlike Halloween Kills, but it's just all over the place. And the way that the story is set up will really divide fans, because Michael Myers is barely in the movie at all. Just a minor spoiler here. The first 20 minutes of the movie, I looked at my phone and I said, well, Michael Myers hasn't been here for 20 minutes. Where is Michael Myers? Another 20 minutes goes by, I say, where's Michael Myers? And another 20 minutes goes by and I say, where is Michael Myers? And for some, that might be a little refreshing. Halloween 3 Season of the Witch didn't even have Michael Myers in it. That was back when they were trying to make these Halloween movies anthologies. This trilogy disregards everything after the original Halloween from 1978. So if fans go into this knowing Michael Myers isn't in the movie all that much, I think the entire Halloween fandom, and probably many horror fans in general, are going to be disappointed by how little Michael Myers is actually used in this movie. He's in the entire third act, but up until then, it really feels like he's not given all that much of a purpose in this movie. He wasn't given all that much of a purpose in Halloween Kills, but in this one especially, he feels like he's sidelined in his own movie. And for some, that might be a detriment to the movie. For others, they might actually embrace that. They might want to see the reasons why Michael Myers isn't in the movie. They might want to see what's going to evolve beyond Michael Myers. And this movie attempts to bring a character in that could potentially have an impact if they continue to make more Halloween movies. I can't get into specifics here. It would probably be in a spoiler review, which I am actually really considering doing because like I said, there's a lot to talk about with Halloween Ends. There will probably be fans that will be like, I actually like that, but that character is not really all that fleshed out. I think it would have been more beneficial if we had this specific character in all 3 of these movies. I'll get into more of that in a minute, but I just want to go back to the point of how frustratingly satisfying and frustratingly disappointing this movie is. It's a conflicting movie. I had some issues with Halloween 2018. There were some things in that movie that I felt were done very well. There were other things that I thought were set up, but that movie didn't necessarily follow through on. For instance, spoilers if you haven't seen the 2018 Halloween, but that doctor that escapes with Michael Myers essentially looks like he kills Michael Myers and he grabs the mask. It was like, oh hey, he's becoming the new Michael Myers, but then immediately he is killed. This movie does a lot of that. There's things that it sets up where it seems like it has potential, and then immediately they do away with it. And you're just like, well, why? You know, like that could have led to something really interesting, but now you just kind of threw it away. So now it just becomes a good idea with poor execution. And that's that's how I can mostly describe Halloween Ends, is that there are great ideas here on paper. It's just the execution of these ideas is really flat, and sometimes they don't even follow through on the ideas that they're actually setting up. 20 seconds later, those ideas will be out the window like they were in Halloween 2018. I wasn't a huge fan of Halloween Kills. Michael Myers had some great kills in the movie, and I really liked the flashbacks to 1978 in the movie, but the rest of the movie became this mob mentality type of movie, and I wasn't a huge fan of that. And when I say that this movie is conflicting, it's weird because this movie does so many things better than Halloween Kills, but there's other times where I feel like I would rather watch Halloween Kills. Like, I have more fun watching Halloween Kills because there are more kills and the kills are more creative in Halloween Kills. I think that Halloween Ends has more of a story and is a little bit more put together despite how messy and frustratingly disappointing it can be at times, especially in its characterization. I don't know which one I like more. I think 2018 is definitely the best out of these three. I can't believe I have to refer to a Halloween movie as the year it came out because it has the same fucking title as the original one. I hate that trend. But yeah, 2018 is the best of these three, and then I can't make up my mind as to whether or not I like Halloween Kills more or Halloween Ends more. They're both disappointing. I don't think that they're great movies at all, but I've seen a lot worse than both of these movies, and just when it comes down to it, it's the one that I feel like I'm gonna have more fun watching, and right now I'm leaning a little bit more towards Kills, but there's more ideas in Halloween Ends that they just don't follow through on. The characterization in this movie is very non-existent. I like where Laurie Strode is as a character. I just wish that they focused more on her confrontation and her thought process about Michael Myers a lot more. Her granddaughter, played by Andy Matichuk, the character's name is Allison, who I felt like didn't even progress at all in Halloween Kills, progresses in this movie and then regresses as a character. The way she's written towards the middle portion of this movie, they revert her back to how she was at the beginning of 2018. And that didn't really fly with me. And they set something up with her in this movie that I thought they were actually going to finally follow through on, because they set it up at the end of 2018 and they did nothing with it in Kills, and then it seemed like they were going back to that, and then at the last minute they were like, no. So even the characterizations in this movie didn't really matter to me. It didn't really matter to me. I didn't care all that much. I didn't care about this other character that's introduced into this movie, and I think it's because he is introduced in this movie. You have so much screen time with this character to try to get to know him, and you do have a little bit of sympathy for him, but for me, his story was the one that became the one that wasn't executed to its full potential. There is going to be some crazy shit in this movie that people are going to talk about for ages. I'm really curious to see how this is going to be received within the Halloween fandom itself. I have not seen all the Halloween movies. I've only seen the original two, Halloween, Halloween 2, and this new trilogy. And I wish that this trilogy really didn't disregard Halloween 2, because it is essentially a continuation. But I am curious to see what the reaction is going to be, especially since this one doesn't take place on the same night as the previous two, which I think was in its benefit, but also a detriment to the film. It's a very strange conundrum, and this movie has a lot of those, where it seems like for every good idea, there's always something bad that comes from that idea. I just think a 4-year time gap in the third movie just doesn't cut it for this one. Halloween Kills at least followed Halloween 2018 and took place on the same night, and yes, it took beats from the original Halloween 2 and did away with some continuity that movie had, but at least it took place on the same night. I think it would have been a really cool dynamic for these three movies to take place on the same night, instead of having two movies take place on the same night and one having this 4-year time gap. Because what were these characters up to in those 4 years? You don't really learn much more about them than you already know from the previous two. And like I said, some of them don't even progress in the last movie, and then they're just kind of regressing in this movie. This trilogy, for me, honestly, feels really disappointing. I think 2018 set up a lot of cool ideas that both Kills and Ends just didn't follow through on. And then it seemed like they really got stuck with Kills, because Kills felt like it was that middle chapter syndrome, where they had the first movie and the third movie written, they just didn't have the second movie written, so they just filled it in with random bullshit Michael Myers stuff, and townspeople coming after him and screaming, "Evil dies tonight," and trying to fight Michael Myers as a community. And it just seemed like a bridge to the third movie, but now, looking back on the three movies, you can tell there's no through line really, except for the Laurie Strode Michael Myers confrontation, but that this trilogy has been building to, and sure, it builds to that, but I don't think that was realized to its full potential. I don't think that this trilogy itself was realized to its full potential. Walking out of Halloween Kills, it's very clear that they wrote the first movie, waited to see what the reaction for that was. It made so much money and it got good reviews that they were like, we can just do whatever the fuck we want now, so let's just make Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. So Halloween Ends is frustratingly disappointing and satisfying at the same time. It takes a lot of risks. There were some things that I think paid off in the end, and there were definitely things that challenged me as an audience member watching a Halloween movie, knowing about the lore of Halloween, even though I haven't seen any of the previous movies. But there were also things that did challenge me that I just didn't like, and I just felt weren't necessary or executed to their full potential. It also feels like a very slow-moving movie. There's not a lot of action in this movie. When the kills happen, it's edited pretty poorly. There's some weird shots and some weird camera angles, and half the time you can't even tell what the hell's going on with these kills, and the kills are very few and far between, unfortunately. A lot of the runtime is padded with this romantic subplot that I just did not give a shit about, but I kind of did at the same time, because I said it's going to lead to this, and it doesn't lead to that. Whether or not it's better than Halloween Kills, I'm still trying to figure that out. It's not better than 2018. It's nowhere near as good as the original. Not even better than Halloween 2. There's probably another Halloween movie that's better than it too. I have no idea. Yeah, it's a conflicting movie. It's a strange, wild ride, this Halloween Ends. You know, I mean, it at least felt like a movie compared to Halloween Kills, but I think Halloween Kills has a little bit more fun, and you can potentially laugh at Halloween Kills a little bit more because it is a little bit more hokey on the unintentional side. There's some unintentional comedy in here, but Halloween Kills just brings that camp up a little bit for me. So it's going to be a few days before I actually get a ranking out for these 5 movies to see where I place them. I will say I enjoyed Halloween Ends with stale popcorn. I think I am going to do a spoiler review for Halloween Ends. I'll probably rewatch it again on Peacock. What I actually really want to do is watch 2018 Kills and Ends back to back to back and see if they work together a lot more as a cohesive unit. Because I didn't watch 2018 this year. I only watched Kills because my cousin Pat was here and he hadn't seen Kills. So we watched Kills before we watched Ends. And we didn't watch 2018. So I think watching 2018 Kills and Ends back to back to back might give me a little bit more of a thought process as to where I stand on this trilogy and these 3 movies as a whole. And I can't wait to do that. And I do have a lot more to say about certain characters in this movie, so I may do a spoiler review for Halloween Ends. Not 100% sure yet. If you guys have seen Halloween Ends, I want to know what you thought of it. Drop me a comment in the comment section below. I'll leave my link to my website in the description below as well. You guys are the best. Thank you for watching. My name is Alex Madden, and I'll see you at the movies somewhere.